Did you know that the Age of Terror for medieval Europe began not with a war, but with a single, silent morning? The year is 793 AD. The island of Lindisfarne sits quietly off the coast of Northumbria, a sanctuary of peace, prayer, and immense wealth. The monks here believe they are protected by God himself. They have no walls. They have no guards. Why would they need them? But on this June morning, the mist on the horizon begins to take shape. Not clouds, but dragons. Square sails cut through the fog. Wooden hulls carve the waves. The Norsemen have arrived, and they are not here to pray. They hit the beach with a ferocity the English have never seen. Giants with axes, clad in leather and fur, screaming in a tongue that sounds like grinding stones. Panic tears through the monastery. The brothers run for the altar, believing the church is a sanctuary. They are wrong. The doors shatter. The Northmen pour in. Gold crosses, silver chalices, ancient manuscripts. It's all just loot to them. For the first time, the Vikings realize that the richest places in England are also the weakest. It is a slaughter. By noon, the beach is stained red. The ships are heavy with gold and slaves. The Holy Island is burning. News of the raid spreads like wildfire across Christendom. Never before has such terror appeared in Britain, wrote the scholar Alcuin. But for the raiders, this wasn't a tragedy. It was a discovery. The West is soft. The West is rich. They sailed back to Scandinavia, not just with gold, but with a secret that will change history forever. The ocean is not a barrier. It's a highway. This was just the beginning. The Viking Age had officially begun, and soon, no coast in Europe would be safe. But who were these men? What drove them from their frozen lands to burn the world? The answer lies deeper than just gold. Back in the north, the winters are long and the soil is poor. Survival is a daily battle. Their culture revered strength above all else. To die in bed was a shame. To die in battle was the only way to Valhalla. And they possessed a technology no one else had mastered, the longship. Shallow draft, flexible hull, capable of crossing oceans and sailing up rivers. It was the stealth bomber of the Dark Ages. They could appear out of nowhere, strike, and vanish before an army could be rallied. Lindisfarne was a raid. What was coming next would be an invasion. The great heathen army is gathering. The kingdoms of England, Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, are divided and bickering. They have no idea of the storm that is about to break. The dragon ships are returning, and this time, they aren't going home. The Viking storm begins. Lindisfarne was a warning, a spark, but the fire that followed would consume an entire kingdom. It is 865 AD. A fleet arrives in East Anglia, not a raiding party of 3 ships, but hundreds. This is the great heathen army. They are led not by kings, but by the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, Ivar the Boneless, Ubba, Halfdan, legends made flesh. Ivar, a tactical genius carried into battle on a shield, his mind as sharp as his axe. He doesn't want gold. He wants land and revenge. Their target? Northumbria, the kingdom that killed their father. They march on the city of York. York, the ancient Roman capital of the north, falls. The Vikings storm the walls on All Saints' Day, while the leaders are at Mass. King Aella is captured, the man who cast Ragnar into a pit of snakes. Now he faces the sons. History whispers of his fate. The Blood Eagle, a ritual so gruesome, some say it is a myth. But the fear it struck was very real. Northumbria is broken. A puppet king is installed. The army does not stop. They turn south. Mercia, the heart of England, trembles. They pay the Danegeld, tons of silver, just to keep the wolves from the door. It is not enough. East Anglia falls next. King Edmund is tied to a tree and filled with arrows like a hedgehog. Another kingdom erased. But here, the story changes. The Vikings begin to do something unexpected. They settle. They bring families. They plow the earth. Half of England is now theirs. They call it the Daemon. Viking laws, Viking customs, Viking gods. Only one kingdom remains independent. Wessex, the last light in the darkness. Its king is dead. His younger brother, a sickly, bookish man named Alfred, takes the crown. No one expects him to survive. Christmas, 878 AD. The Vikings launch a surprise winter attack on Chippenham. Alfred is caught off guard. He flees into the marshes of Athelney, a king without a kingdom, hiding in the mud. The Viking victory seems absolute, but Alfred does not surrender. From the swamps, He begins a guerrilla war. He calls the FYRD, the Peasant Army. 7 weeks later, they gather at Egbert's Stone. The men of Wessex see their king is alive. A roar goes up that shakes the trees. They march to Edington. The shield wall of Wessex meets the Viking berserkers. It is the battle for the soul of England. For hours, iron rings against iron. The Vikings are ferocious, but the Saxons are fighting for their homes. The shield wall holds. The Vikings break, but the war isn't over. It's time for a deal. Silence/music swell. Centuries have passed since Lindisfarne. The Vikings are no longer just raiders. They are kings, traders, conquerors. But in 1066, the English throne sits empty. And in the north, one last dragon wakes from his slumber. Harald Hardrada, the last Viking, a warrior who fought from Jerusalem to Kiev. He believes the crown is his by blood and blade. He lands in England with 300 ships. The ground shakes. It seems the nightmare of the great heathen army has returned. But England has a new defender, King Harold Godwin's son. He marches his army north, 185 miles in just 4 days. An impossible feat. Stamford Bridge. The Vikings are relaxed. Their armor is left on the ships. They expect hostages, not a war. Suddenly, the horizon glitters with steel. The English army pours over the hills like a landslide. The Vikings are caught cold. Panic. Retreat. But one man holds the bridge. A lone berserker. A giant who blocks the narrow crossing, swinging a massive axe. He cuts down 40 men. Arrows bounce off his shield. For 1 hour, he holds back the entire English army single-handedly. He could not be defeated by strength, only by trickery. An English soldier floats under the bridge in a barrel and thrusts a spear upwards. The giant falls. The bridge is lost. The English army surges across like a dam breaking. Hardrada fights like a demon, unarmored, hacking through the shield wall in a berserker gang rage. But the age of heroes is ending. An arrow strikes him in the throat. The last Viking falls. The banner, land waster, hits the mud. It is a massacre. Of the 300 ships that arrived, only 24 are needed to carry the survivors home. King Harold has won, but fate is cruel. 3 days later, the Normans land in the south. England is doomed anyway. The Viking age died at Stamford Bridge. But did they really vanish? Look at our language. Thursday, window, berserk. They were the first to touch America. They founded Dublin. They gave Russia its name. They served the Byzantine emperors. Their blood runs in the veins of millions today. They didn't disappear. They became us. The storms have passed. The axes are rusted. But the echo of the Northmen will never fade. Silence/music swell.